business of concrete. For the last 5 years, the people of East Pasture have been crying for affordable housing, good paying jobs, proper sanitation, and quality health care. But we already know that Patches does not care a bit about your health. Otherwise, he would have never supported building the new Pasture High School right on top of our biggest water source. Comrades, that is like building a toilet over a cistern. Does that make any sense, comrades? Does that make any sense at all, comrades? I hear you. It is clear, comrades, to see that this arrogant, incompetent representative is only concerned about one thing. That's concrete. That is why I say to you, my dear comrades, it is time for a new vision, a new purpose, a new approach to governance in East Pasture and the entire nation. I say to you tonight, East Pasture, it is time for Patches to go. Comrades, Patches is scared, mortally afraid of me, for he knows that his time is up and he is expired. The voters of East Pasture tried an experiment by voting for Patches in the last election. And it is clear for all to see that the experiment has gone horridly bad and wrong, comrades. Patches cannot even fix the potholes in the roads. You only have to look at what's happening on the Bay Road. I hear they run out of oil. And like so many of his previous employers found out, the people of East Pasture now know that Patches is totally useless. Everywhere he goes, they find out the same thing. Patches is arrogant, incompetent, and completely useless. He was useless in Elimat and the GI's Brass International. He was useless at Dilil Walwyn. He was useless at Hosfords. He was useless at the Port Authority. He was a useless permanent secretary. He was useless at the water management project. And he's useless as a representative of the people of East Pasture. He is useless and expired. Comrades, no wonder they have become so desperate that they have resorted to vandalizing my office, calling me names and trying to belittle me in every way. But I want Patches to know that no weapon he forms against me shall ever prosper. None, no, not one. Whatever he tries, he will fail, because I do not fight alone, comrades. I have you, my warriors of the East, and Almighty God with me everywhere I go. Comrades and friends, ever since I can remember, my life has revolved around the idea of doing good for others without asking or expecting anything in return. This commitment to serving people first and foremost gave birth to the mantra that has defined me as a person. I am with you, and I have tried my best to live my life in such a way as to respect it to the fullest extent. I truly believe that a community is best defined by its people, and when the people are looked after by their representatives, the community itself will thrive and prosper. But to make everyone happy, you have to walk the extra mile with them. You have to provide a good system of governance. You have to empower the youth, and you have to provide excellent public services to the elderly and the entire community. Through transparency, fairness, and justice for all, we can build a society that our children and grandchildren will be proud of. By bridging the gap between poverty and wealth, we can better the lives of those out of prosperity and progress. By ending cronyism and nepotism, we can show people that they can succeed on their own merit without having to beg a politician for a handout. Comrades, I say to you again, I am with you every step of the way. I will listen to your needs, and I will make sure that everyone in this community is happy, whether they are Palmer, Labour, PLP, or Unity. Because, comrades, after all, what is more important in life than happiness? Happiness that comes from respected by your representative. Happiness that comes from knowing that your family is well fed and has a roof over its head. Happiness that comes from the fact that you don't have to worry about the future. I pledge to you tonight that I will build on the achievement of this great St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party and provide more land and more affordable homes for you, my constituents. I will fight for better schools, better education, and clean and safe drinking water. I give you my assurance, comrades, tonight, that during my time in office, the new Pasture High School will not be built on the Pasture Valley Aquifer. The new facility will be built at a location that poses no danger whatsoever to our water supply. I give you my assurance that George Street will no longer be viewed as a rum shop avenue, but will be transformed into a modern commercial area of which we all will be proud. I give you my assurance that proper sanitation will be restored in East Pasture. No longer will our streets and alleyways be seen as cesspools of garbage, filthy drains, and overgrown roadsides. I give you my assurance that quality health care for all will be my watchwords. Comrades, too many people have died for the lack of basic medicine, and on my watch that will become a thing of the past in East Pasture. I give you my assurance that modern affordable housing units will be constructed to address the crisis now facing our constituents who do not have a roof over their heads to call their own. I give you my assurance, East Pasture, from 4th Street to the Southeast Peninsula will become a model of beauty, landscaping, and green spaces for all our citizens to enjoy. Comrades, I give you my assurance that Scouting will return to the Newtown School and the community. I give you my word that the computers will return to our community center for the benefit of all our residents. And I give you my assurance that I will make available real opportunities to empower our constituents. Comrades, that is the difference between Jeffrey Hanley and Patches Libod. I am in it for you. Patches is in it for himself. The choice is clear, comrades. Will you choose 5 more years of dishonesty, or will you choose me? Will you choose 5 more years of arrogance, or will you choose me? Will you choose 5 more years of incompetence, or will you choose me? Will you choose the bad word minister, or will you choose Jeffrey Hanley? That is the choice before you in the election, my dear comrades. And I implore you to choose wisely for yourself and for your loved ones. Choose the hand. Choose the hand. Choose labor. Comrades and friends, before I leave, I must give you a warning. Do not sell your vote. Your vote, comrades, is your voice, and they will be coming around with big bags of money trying to buy your vote. Comrades, times are hard, so I will never tell you not to take it, but you must always think of the day after and ask yourself, will I have a voice tomorrow? So comrades, I beg you, please, do not sell your voice. That is all some of you have, and you must never ever give it away. So comrades, when they come with their gifts, you must eat them out, drink them out, spend them out, and then vote them out. My dear comrades and friends, supporters, well-wishers of the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, I will end now once again by giving you my solemn pledge. I am with you. I am with you. Are you with me, East Pasture? Let's make some more noise. Are you with me? Are you with Marcelo in constituency number 2? Are you with Congress in number 3? Are you with Rensford in number 4? Are you with Kenny in number 5? Comrades, are you with our great leader in number 6? Comrades of Labour, are you traveling over to number 7? Are you with Leon Nelson? Comrades, the caring Dr. Terrence Joe, are you with him? East Pasture, St. Kitts-Nevis, I love you. I am ready to serve you. Long live the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party. One love, love you.
Comrades, what energy here tonight. Jeffrey is with you and you are with him. Put your hands together again for the shepherd from East Pasture. Comrades, a strange thing is happening. From the budget debate in December, when our comrade leader got up to respond, and he started to sound as though he is the one presenting the budget, bringing all those things that he said we'd introduce for you, the people of St. Kitts-Nevis, to ease the squeeze. He spoke about the various things that we would do in terms of the vehicle policy, in terms of small business, the health sector, all we'll do for the police, the nurses, and all these other persons. That took a turn. It caught them off guard, and they're still trying to catch up. So guess what? They just start now that they expire, now that their time is up. They start now to try to see how they could counter what we say. So today, Sean Rich has put out something saying that they're going to invest $30 million in education because we said that we're going to revolutionize education and ensure that we no longer have just English and Spanish and Southern, which is very good. But we'll also make sure there's a technical side and that people will be able to carry out what they wish in terms of their vocation in a new high school on the next gen, in the curriculum. But here's the joke. You got to ask them. We just had a budget in December and there's $30 million in the budget. This is March. They didn't know about the $30 million when they present the budget in December. All of a sudden, it's $30 million to see if they could fool you. They only hear us talk about small business, and you heard Congress tonight, I think it was Steve, talking about all we are offering small businesses. All of a sudden, they send somebody on the radio to say they're having some first small business fair in the square. After they don't expire, again, trying their best to do catch up. They said I got 2020 vision. People, this is 2020. We going to the 21st century. It's next gen. It is next gen. So they can't cope with us. And so I want to bring the next speaker, because to have a team like this one, you have to have a very competent and capable leader who can lead the team to victory and ensure that all of the policies that we are presenting to the people of St. Kitts-Nevis will be implemented. And we know his capabilities, the best in the region. We know his capabilities. And so we know for sure that all those policies that you have seen in our policy map and all the others that will come in our manifesto, you can rest assured that you'll get your brand new hospital that it will have all the equipment, that the children going to CFBC will no longer be paying any fees. We mean what we say and say what we mean. So help me please. Help me with your applause. Help me please. Help me. Bring to the microphone our common leader, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Llewellyn Douglas.
I thought I was the best, but Jeffrey Hanley is really the best. Better than the rest. My dear people, I want to thank the people of Pasture for welcoming us here in East Pasture as the labor trade moves throughout the country in preparing for the 2020 general election. We have been through several other constituencies in recent time. We were in mansions last week, Thursday, when Nathan Nelson again demonstrated his readiness to take constituency number 7 and lead it in our parliament here in St. Kitts-Nevis. And tonight, here we are in East Pasture. We are here to do 3 basic things. We want to let you know that we are in the middle of the 2020 general election campaign. We want to make it clear to you that the elections most likely will be called in April of this year. And so we are asking you to be ready as we continue to ready ourselves to serve you in the parliament of our country. And so here we are, again demonstrating Labour is ready, Labour is organized, Labour is energized, and Labour is fully mobilized for the 2020 general election. Secondly, we are here not only to support Jeffrey Hanley as your candidate and as your future representative, but we want to say to you that we fully endorse him, not only as the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party, but we endorse him as the entire country, because people know exactly who Jeffrey Hanley really is. And so I endorse him. I endorse him as the leader of our great party, the St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party,
the oldest party in one of the oldest parties in the Caribbean, and definitely the oldest leading and most successful political party here in St. Kitts-Nevis. Tonight, I emphasize, as you've heard before, in the previous endorsements, Jeffrey has committed his life to the empowerment of people. Jeffrey is a dynamic, selfless, passionate young man. Jeffrey is a pioneer for youth development, not only here in East Pasture, but throughout St. Kitts-Nevis and the whole Caribbean region. Jeffrey is one of the founding members of the St. Kitts National Youth Parliament Association. Jeffrey is a former director of youth and has organized a number of initiatives in a number of different ways. It was who organized the annual summer camps here in St. Kitts-Nevis. You've heard of the People's Employment Program, which has been emulated throughout the whole Caribbean region. Jeffrey was one who organized the PEP here in St. Kitts-Nevis, a model for youth empowerment and employment throughout the whole Caribbean region. It was Jeffrey who several years ago brought your own young people, your children, to the parliament year after year and recognized them as the 25 most remarkable teens here in St. Kitts-Nevis. Jeffrey deserves another round of applause. Jeffrey Hanley is an educator by profession. He, among others, will revolutionize the education system here in St. Kitts-Nevis in the next gen Labour team that will govern this country. For 5 years, our Minister of Education has been responsible, has been the overseer of a serious deterioration in the education system here in St. Kitts-Nevis. All of our schools are mold infested under his watch. Our teachers and our students, they have been subjected to the most horrendous and poor working and learning conditions ever here in our country. Jeffrey will ensure that a new Pasture High School is built, yes, here in Pasture for our children. After 7 years here in Pasture, but definitely will not contaminate the Pasture aquifer that brings you your drinking water. And that is why I know that Jeffrey is a good man. Jeffrey will continue to fight your cause. He is of you. He is from you. He is among you. And he's seeking to represent you in the parliament of our country. I want to make it very, very clear that the people of Pasture, he has pledged. He has said to me, comrade leader, I will provide leadership for a new Pasture High School, but I shall not contaminate the water that brings drinking water to the people of Pasture, Ponds Extension, the people of Newtown, the people of Boardwalk, and the people of Frigate Bay, all over to the Southeast Peninsula. I will preserve the aquifer for them to get proper drinking water. I want to make it clear to you, my dear people, They can threaten as much as they want. But we here in this party, the future government of St. Kitts-Nevis, we will never allow them to contaminate the water supply, the main water source for the people of St. Kitts here in Pasture area. And even though you may think it is only the people of Pasture that will have their water contaminated, everybody from around this country come to Pasture at some time in their life. And so it will be contaminating the drinking water of all of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. My dear people, it was the Caribbean Public Health Agency that said nothing was wrong with the site where the old Pasture High School was situated. They rejected what was solid professional advice from CARFA. But today, because we are now faced with the coronavirus epidemic, all of a sudden, the same CARFA is the most reputable organization on health matters here in the Caribbean region. And that is why we say, you cannot trust those who are self-serving, those who will sacrifice you on the political altar. You cannot trust them. You cannot trust hypocrites. You cannot trust deceivers. And that is what all of them are. Don't trust them. Trust Jeffrey instead. And so tonight, we come to emphasize that the government has expired. Its time expired on the 16th day of February 2020, 5 years after it started on the 16th day of February 2015. And so we emphasize here in Pasture tonight, it is time for the government of Timothy Harris to go. Time for the government to go. And so another good reason, apart from its expiration, why the government must go. We have shown you that over the last 5 years, it has been a most incompetent and corrupt and nepotistic government. Imagine Patches Liebert, the epitome of corruption, starts to build the second cruise pier only after he had already registered a company to sell cement and steel to the very company that is building the second pier here. Self-serving. Corruption stinks to the heavens when it comes to this man. And I want you to know that we have recognized from a recent poll that was published by none other than Bill Johnson, the Caribbean, the America's most foremost pollster. He has said that one of the important issues that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis are crying out against is the high level of corruption that exists in the Tim Harris administration. I want to say to you, corruption and incompetence must not be rewarded with a second term. How can you reward persons who have demonstrated that they are leading a corrupt government and give them a second term? Jeffrey told you about the airport incident. Bad words galore, shirking off the authorities who are doing their work of ensuring that safety and security must be paramount at our international airports. You have heard of what has happened. A whole modern brand pier, millions of dollars in cost overruns, spoiled by a minister who is most incompetent and arrogant. And you're going to vote for he again? People of Boardwalk, people of Pasture, people of Newtown, you're going to vote for him again? People of Frigate Bay, people around the world who are out of St. Kitts but can vote here, are you going to vote for that minister again? Never, I say. Not only has he spoiled a whole pier, but they say he now spoiled a whole housing development project. No windows! No exit, no back door. Trying to open them from since September of last year. Was supposed to give them out today. Change his mind again. A whole housing development project spoil again. My dear people, you cannot afford to have incompetence to be rewarded in the next general election. You cannot reward the most corruption of the highest order. You can't allow that to be compensated and rewarded in the next general elections. My dear people, all that we have seen in these cost overrun projects, a lot of taxpayers' money running into millions of dollars just to give them money to finance their own political campaign. Can't be right, my dear people. Cannot be right at all. Look at what is happening down there in Old Road. Another massive project, cost overrun, just to mobilize money for their campaign. How can you reward a government like that? Incompetence and corruption are the hallmarks of this Harris administration. Building drains out of concrete and steel where water never ever run yet. Just to use up money and get kickbacks. That is what they're doing. And you're going to reward that? People of Boardwalk, people of Newtown, people of Frigate Bay. That is what you're going to reward? The abuse of your own tax money must never happen again. My dear people, the incompetence and the corruption does not stop there. It permeates the whole Harris administration. Because look there now, last week Thursday, a judge ordered that two prominent members of the PAM party, the chairman of the PAM party, the former leader of the PAM party, Powell and Grant, ordered them to appear before a disciplinary tribunal because he had found them guilty of misappropriation of clients' funds. And as the little school children them say that they learn a big word. But what is a small word for that? Thief, they say. The small word for the big word misappropriation is thief. Thief. And because of the evidence that has been provided to the court, the judge has ordered, apart from making sure that the client is going to be compensated, he is also saying that there has been a breach of what is called the Legal Profession Act of 2008. and has ordered them to be disciplined. Incompetence, greed, and corruption. Incompetence, greed, and corruption is the order of the day for this administration after 5 years. And I say to you, I don't gloat at all over this matter because they are two young professionals. They have, I believe, the rest of their life ahead of them. But after all, who send them to misappropriate the client's funds? Who send them? I am not saying that I am gloating at all over this, but I support Justice Ventos when he has referred them to the disciplinary committee to ensure that they be appropriately disciplined. And you know what discipline is? You know what the judge has ordered? You all appear according to the law. Appear before this tribunal. And they will decide one of two things. One, you either lose your license to practice law forever and ever here in St. Kitts-Nevis, or you will be suspended from practicing law in St. Kitts Court and in the OECS Court for a limited period of time. You see, when a client gives a lawyer over $1 million to do a particular service, the client's money must not be used to buy one of the latest BMW cars on the streets here in St. Kitts-Nevis. It must not be used to expand the existing KFC facilities. It must not be used to finance the 2015 political campaign for themselves and Pam. Must not be used. That is why the discipline is important. That is why I support it. It cannot be used beyond the purpose for which the money was given. And that is why I say, I ain't have no arguments to make in their story. But I am a political leader of a party. And we keep saying there has to be some order, some proper conduct, some standards be set here in our country when it comes to representing people in our parliament. And that is why, therefore, we emphasize again, we might have made errors. We are not perfect, but not one of them in my government was able to receive the condemnation of corruption except the one who now leads the government. That is why Harris had become despised by his own people in PLP. They accuse him of taking $10 million in the 2015 campaign, and up to now, no account has been provided to the membership of the PLP. And that is why, as we move further and further to the end of this campaign, as we make ourselves closer and closer to be the new representative government of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, we have insisted that every single member of the Next Gen SKN Labour team must sign on the code of proper conduct before they can become candidates and before they can walk into the parliament of our St. Kitts and Nevis. Because we believe right is right. Standards are standards. And we must make sure that they are maintained. And so tonight I call on the Honorable Sean Richards. Not only should you allow Justice Bentos to start the necessary disciplinary proceedings against them, but you must also ask them to withdraw as members of your team as we go into the next general elections. And if you are a man, you will do that. Only a man will not do that. If you are a man, you will do it. I mean nothing. This is Lent. For those of you who think otherwise, I ain't mean that at all. But my dear people, if at all Sean Richards is worth his salt as the leader, you should ask them to withdraw. But he can't ask them. He can't ask them. Because you know what John L. Powell said to somebody? And what Lindsey Grant said to a close friend? Sean can't come ask me nothing. He can't find me. Because all of us are this here. Oh, you ever heard about what his name? I would not say it, my good friend. I would not say it. I won't go there. But all of them are like, leave it alone. That's it. Leave it alone. My dear people, that is what should happen. That is why I fired Timothy Harris from my cabinet. Fired him out of order, disrespectful, hypocrite, deceiver. And so I took up my pen and I just fire him. Go out of my cabinet, I don't want you. Only a real man could do that. And so, my dear people, I don't believe it is only Sean Richards as the leader of PAM, but civil society. Civil society. I want to thank the president of the Bar Association for responding to my letter in December when I first wrote to the president and drawing to the president's attention that this particular ruling had come against these two members of the bar and some action of discipline should be initiated against them. And she wrote and said, there is a procedure to be followed. And that procedure is found, as she said, in the Legal Profession Act of 2008. When it is same act that the Justice Bentos has now used to bring discipline in order in that profession here in St. Kitts and Nevis. My dear people, I want to make it clear that the corruption does not stand there. If you read this important document, which is the judgment from Ventos of last week, Thursday, 31 pages, it outlines how the registrar of the court has been found wanting, how she has corrupted the practices in the court, in the registrar of the court. And also I believe, having been described as a rogue registrar, she too should be disciplined. That is part of the nepotism that we have been talking about. Because she happens to be the sister of the Prime Minister, she believes she can break every rule and every law that pertains to the functioning of the registrar in the court. And so I ask Juicy Byron, the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, If you have any, you should do what is right to do. You should ask her to resign as well. She's not fit to continue to serve as the registrar of the High Court after she has displayed such political partisan nature of her rulings and decisions there in the court, in the registrar of the court, in the registry of the court. And so I said to you, my dear people, that needs to be ventilated as well. We keep saying all along, it's wrong for the Prime Minister to appoint his sisters, his close family members in certain positions in the government because it will lead to severe corruption. It will lead to partisanship. And so the judge has found that Janine Harris has done exactly what we say would happen eventually. It is not only Janine Harris though. What about the Prime Minister's brother, Len Harris? When we left office, Len Harris was on suspension, being investigated for all kind of misdoings in the Development Bank of St. Kitts-Nevis. As soon as the government changed, the Prime Minister brought him back. Not only brought him back, but appointed him to a higher position, made him Chief Executive Officer of the bank, and increased his salary by over $3,000, the only man in the whole bank to get a salary increase. And I want to make the point that just this week today, the Financial Services Regulatory Commission, which by law has the authority to inspect the bank and its records and how it is functioning from time to time, they were chased out of the bank by the manager today. Just today, I am told. And that is what is happening. Your money in the development bank is being used as they wish by Len Harris. Today, I pass him down in Stonefort Yard, dishing out millions of dollars to young people. He had the SSU van securing him. He had Big T also securing him. Millions of dollars every week is being taken from the development bank. They say he get it from the Minister of Finance, who is Tim Harris, his brother. That can't be right. That can't be right. When your children can't get their student loans to go off to university and college. Can't be right when the fisherman can't get some money to buy some fish pot wire to make his nets to catch fish. Can't be right for the young man who wants to start up a little business is being denied by Len Harris because he is a supporter of labor. Cannot be right. And that is why I say to you, my dear people, the government stinks from the head down. The government must go. It is time for the next gen SK Labour team to emerge. It is time for Jeffrey Hanley to take over as the representative of East Pasture here in April of this year when the elections are called. My dear people, I want to say to you that we are a caring team. We will look after the interest of our people. That is why our motto is, it is all about you, my dear people. It's not about us. It is all about you. That is why our policies are for the empowerment and and the enrichment of our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I said to you, I give a commitment. I place my right hand over my left chest where my heart continues to beat. A heart of compassion and care. We will strengthen our integrity system. New anti-corruption legislation and anti-victimization legislation will be brought into operation as soon as we enter the Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis. We will operationalize the Integrity in Public Life Commission. We will repeal the new Public Accounts Committee Act to restore the powers of the Public Accounts Committee so that we can summon any public servant to give an account of how money has been misspent and misused in her department or in her office. We are already leading by example by putting our own house in order first. That is why we signed the Code of Ethical Conduct, each and every one of us. They told me it is 5 minutes to 12, so I must end now. As much as I want to explain to you what our new policies and programs are, I believe you would have heard us, because I believe that you are seized with this document. It is called the policy map of the next gen team of the Labour Party. And so I ask you to come down to Fig Tree next week, Thursday. We shall be in Fig Tree next week, Thursday. My dear people, I love you very, very much. I have served you for 20 years in the past as Prime Minister. The people have asked me to stay to make sure that we can transition from this corrupt government to a caring Labour government. I ask you to support each of our candidates, but in particular, I ask you to lend your support to Dr. Jeffrey Hanley of Pasture. He deserves your support. Let us close with 3 cheers to Jeffrey Hanley. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! God bless you, and please get home safely. Good night. Thank you. Yep. Okay.
Show me the